All right, welcome. Today we're going to build what I'm calling the Modern Skills Playbook. And look, this is about way more than just landing a better job. It's really about figuring out what you actually need to know to build a life that feels intentional, that feels meaningful. So let's dive right in.
So let's just get real for a second. In a world that is just constantly buzzing about AI and social media, and you got to learn to code, it's really easy to feel lost, right? There's this endless debate about what we should be learning. So the big question is, what skills actually matter today? What really moves the needle in this crazy, fast-changing world?
And this, right here, really lays out the problem perfectly. On one side, you've got the stuff we were all taught in school, the classic foundational subjects. But on the other side, you've got what the modern world is actually asking for. Things like being fluent with AI, having genuine empathy, and just the resilience to handle constant, non-stop change.
Okay, so this feeling of being behind, it isn't just in your head. It's a real, measurable thing. We call it the modern skills gap. There's this growing space between the skills most of us have and what our economy, and honestly, our lives really need from us. Let's break down why this is happening.
A recent report from Make UK really put a fine point on this. Get this, nearly half of all manufacturers, it's a huge part of the economy, say they want to innovate, they want to bring in new technology, but they just can't. Why? Because they can't find people who have the right technical skills. They're literally being held back.
Now, I want you to focus on just one number with me. 112. That's it, 112. Now, that number represents how many industrial robots there are for every 10,000 workers in the UK. And yeah, it might sound like a lot, but as you're about to see, that number is actually a huge warning sign.
Because, look, when you put that number into context, the problem just jumps off the page. The UK's 111 is literally half the EU average, which is 224. And then you look at a place like South Korea, they're over 1,000. This isn't just about robots, it's a symbol for how quickly a country is adapting to new tech, and it's tied directly to that skills gap we were just talking about.
And this quote from Make UK's chief economist, it just perfectly captures that feeling of frustration, of being stuck. He says businesses are ready to go, they're keen to innovate, but something is holding them back. And that something, well, it's the skills gap. So let's build the playbook to fix this, starting with the first of our 3 big skill categories.
All right, first up, let's talk about your career accelerators. Think of these as the tangible, super practical skills that get your foot in the door. They help you climb the ladder, they put you on a path to financial stability. Put simply, they're the what you can do.
And just look at the earning potential here. It's pretty incredible. Whether we're talking about web development or data analysis or project management, the common thread is that ability to build and manage things in the digital world. These aren't just skills. They're high-value investments in your career that, as you can see, employers are absolutely willing to pay a premium for.
But, and this is a big but, just having the technical chops isn't the whole story. Not even close. To really succeed, you need the second piece of our playbook, the human connection skills. This is all about how you work with other people.
Yeah, you'll often hear these called transferable skills or soft skills. Basically, they're the universal abilities that make you effective no matter what your job title is. Honestly, they are the difference between being a good technician and becoming a great leader.
Think about it. It's one thing to have a great idea. It's a completely different thing to actually make it happen, right? And that's where these skills come in. You need creativity to even have the idea in the first place. You need leadership to rally a team around it. And you definitely need emotional intelligence to keep that team working together smoothly. Without these, even the best technical skills on the planet can just fall flat.
And that brings us to our final and maybe the most important category, the Wisdom Foundation. If the other skills are the apps you run, these are your personal operating system. They're the deep internal skills that guide your decisions and really help you build a life with purpose.
And this really gets to a super important distinction. As one psychologist put it, you can be incredibly intelligent, you can know all the facts, but that's not the same thing as being wise. Making good decisions, building a meaningful life, that requires something deeper.
And what's so powerful here is how all these traits work together. It's like a system. Resilience is what gets you through the tough times, right? Kindness makes sure you don't have to go through them alone. Humility, that opens you up to actually learning from your experiences. And curiosity, well, that fuels the entire process, making sure you never, ever stop growing. Okay, so we've got these 3 big buckets of skills. How do we put it all together?
Because the goal isn't just to be a master in one of these areas. It's about weaving them all together into a complete personal playbook.
You know, the most effective, most successful people out there, they build a really balanced portfolio of skills. They combine those hard-hitting career accelerators with strong human connection skills, and they build it all on top of a solid wisdom foundation. See how each part supports and even makes the others better?
And this right here, this is really the heart of the whole playbook. Look, anybody can learn a technical skill if they try hard enough. But true capability, true success, that comes from combining that skill with the ability to connect and collaborate with people, all of it guided by an internal compass that helps you navigate the messiness of work and of life.
And you know, while we often look to our schools or our jobs for training, this quote from a parent on Reddit is such a great reminder that building these foundational human skills, these wisdom skills, that's ultimately on us. It's a personal journey. It's our responsibility to grow them in ourselves and maybe to help the next generation grow them too.
So, that brings us to the final question, really. You've seen the map, you have the playbook, the different skills that truly matter. The only question left is, which one are you going to start working on today?